Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 153 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
And here's what we're going to be talking about today. Before we get into some of the stuff we've been up to, in our Noteworthy segment, we'll be talking about a clever activism campaign. I'm not sure if you've seen it, from a website called hatevegans.com. So we'll be talking about that. And in our main topic, we will be asking the question, are we wrong about PETA?
It's a good question.
Yeah. So stick around and find out about that. We are now living in a Lucy-less house.
It's true. We are Lucy free.
Our niece left for home yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And we've probably said this before, but there is this eerie quiet when she leaves.
It's so strange.
Yeah, and it's not like she's a loud kid. It's just, I mean, those of you that have kids in the house all the time, there's an energy, right, that they bring. And sure. when they're gone, it's palpable.
Yeah.
You can feel their energy missing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the day after Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. We miss her already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer not having her around because she's super cool.
Yeah, she's a whole lot of fun, and we love having her around, and we love helping her throughout theater camp, because she usually gets roles, and so there's line practice and singing practice and watching whatever show it is that she's in, so we can get an idea of what she's going to be doing. Anyway, it's a lot of fun, and when it's over, it's just a little sad.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But we do have some fun stuff coming up.
We do. This weekend, for instance, we will be at the 2024 Rochester Veg Fest. That's taking place on Saturday. That is August 24th.
In Rochester. Exactly where is the Veg Fest?
It is at Parcel 5, 285 East Main Street, Rochester, New York.
Yeah, and there are a ton of vendors. It's going to be a rockin' good time. So if you're anywhere near the Rochester area, come on by. We're at booth 28, just opposite all of the food vendors. So come over and say hi. We'd love to see you.
Sure would.
Hey, guess what? We have a recipe this week.
We do.
Thanks to listener Crystal Allen, we made her vegan egg roll recipe, which I discovered earlier today I stole from her. Here's what happened. So I made Crystal's egg roll recipe because I had it in an email. Somehow I had emailed myself the recipe. And I sent her a picture and said, hey, we made your egg rolls today and they were delicious. Thank you so much for sharing the recipe. And she's like, I don't ever remember writing that recipe down for anybody. And I'm like, well, you sent it to me. It was like back in June or something. So I'm like racking my brain, and I'm sure she wasn't racking her brain. She's probably like, great, glad you made them. And I figured out what had happened was she made a post on her Facebook page of these beautiful pictures of her egg rolls. And then a friend of hers said, can you give me the recipe? And so she posted the recipe and I stole it.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not theft.
No.
If she posted it willingly, it's not theft.
Right. I copied the recipe.
Okay.
I copied the recipe. Well, here, all along, I was thinking I had asked her for the recipe on that post, but it turns out it wasn't me. It was a friend of hers.
Oh, well.
But anyway, regardless, she says, it's great. I'm glad you like them. Go ahead and use the recipe for your listener recipe this week. And so that's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So these egg rolls were fantastic.
They were.
Yes.
They were really, really wonderful.
It's been forever since I've made honest to goodness egg rolls. I'm talking like since like my 20s. Mm-hmm. And it all came back to me, once I made the ingredients. The whole wrapping of the egg rolls kind of came back to me.
Sure.
And it was a lot of fun making them. And there's a lot of really good stuff in these egg rolls.
Oh, yeah. The flavor on these was just awesome. It was really ginger and turmeric forward, which I absolutely loved because those are way up there on my spice list.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, so good. Just nice and tangy, really great texture, and really just kind of a treat. Like, I can't remember the last time we had like egg rolls.
Yeah. And when you make them yourself, fresh,
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't beat a fresh egg roll.
Yeah, I've never made egg rolls myself.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, so this was a first for
But
me.
even when you get them at a restaurant, they're good at the restaurant right when you get them.
Yeah.
But like if you have extras and you bring them home,
They don't hold up.
no, they're not so good later.
This is true.
Yeah, they're not as, I mean, they still taste good, but you know, they lose their crispiness and all that. But yeah, in these there's Napa cabbage and tofu and carrots and green onion and garlic and ginger, lots of ginger, Chinese 5-spice. There's a bunch of different spices and edamame. And so I can share this recipe since Crystal shared it on her social media. I'm going to share it in our show notes if you want to make this recipe for yourself. Now, I will tell you that Crystal's recipe makes 3 dozen egg rolls.
Yeah, so Christine pared it down a little.
Yeah, I made like a third of the recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, they're egg rolls. You don't need like exact amounts.
Right.
You know, and put whatever veg you want in there.
yeah.
But definitely use her spice combination because it was really good. Yeah, really good. So thank you, Crystal, for letting us use that recipe that I swiped from you. And I'll be sharing some video and pictures of these egg rolls so that you can ooh and ah and drool over them and then make them yourself.
Sounds good.
So that brings us to our Noteworthy section that we were speaking about earlier. And I'm not sure if you've seen pictures or if you live in the California area, you may have even seen the billboards. Billboards listed as an advertisement for Loudermilk and Associates law firm. And it is a campaign created by hatevegans.com. And they also have radio ads, TV spot ads that you can download and use. And I am going to be including some of those ads so you can hear what they're all about. So if you go to hatevegans.com, their website it's kind of great. There's a large ad with Mr. Loudermilk himself, Seymour Loudermilk. And it says, injured by a vegan? Make your voice louder with Seymour Loudermilk. And then they have a number of different ads that you can watch or listen to. This is their radio spot.
Coffee with milk, please.
We only have plant milk. Is that okay?
Stop! It's not okay. And if something like this has happened to you, you need to call me, Seymour Loudermilk, right now. If you've had your feelings hurt by a vegan, you could be entitled to compensation.
Oat milk, soy milk, almond milk?
No thanks. I'll have louder milk, and I'll see you in court.
Get more with Seymour. Call 866-HATE-VEGANS. HateVegans.com.
So that's their short radio spot. And I thought people said that you could call this number.
Is this something we should do?
I think we should. Let's call it.
Okay. And that number is 1-866-HATEVEGANS.
Thank you for calling Loudermilk Associates. If you've been physically injured by a vegan, press 1. If you've been emotionally injured by a vegan, press 2. If you've been exposed to distressing ideas by a vegan, press 3. If you've been existentially threatened by a vegan, press 4. If you want to know why vegans are so vocal, press 5. If you'd be happier listening to a light bossa nova, press 6. If you like pressing the number 7, press 8. To leave a message in our general mailbox, press 7. Get more with Seymour. Welcome to the voicemail. Tell us what that nasty vegan did to you. And if we can help, we'll be in touch.
So there you go. And I think you can press all the prompts. I don't know what they all do, but if you want to have a little fun, call 1-866-HATE-VEGANS and find out what it's all about.
Seriously. Their website is also really entertaining. So about the middle of their website, they list some Seymour successes. And they say, at Loudermilk and Associates, we don't just fight vegans. We fight for justice, dignity, and the right to ignore any facts that make you uncomfortable.
And these ads and some of the billboards, they're not, they don't beat around the bush.
No, not at all.
A lot of the ads, they do show what happens to animals in a farming situation, what happens to animals in a slaughterhouse situation. So, I guess I just wanted to ask the question, do we think this kind of advocacy is effective?
Yeah. I actually find this really effective. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, I actually want to dig deeper into this because this is fun.
Yeah, we do. But do you think non-vegans, maybe seeing that billboard and calling that number, do you think they're just going to find it funny and then write it off? Or do you think that they might learn something and, I don't know, consider things?
I don't know. It's going to depend on the person.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there are going to be some people, vegan and non-vegan, who are going to look at this or call the number and listen to what's behind the prompts and find it really funny and acknowledge it as really creative satire, because that's exactly what it is. And I think it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
There are others who will just roll their eyes. There will be others who will be offended by it, feeling like it's making fun of omnivores.
Right.
So I don't know that I can say that I think there will be a specific response, because I think the responses are going to be as varied as the humans who are responding are varied.
Yeah.
But I do think it's really clever. I'm reading another part of the website right now, and it says, "You've seen the evidence. Plant-based kale weaponizing fanatics are vomiting disapproving bile all over the once great city of Los Angeles. They're taking away your protein. They're polluting your milk aisles. They're poisoning your children's minds with disgusting talk about not killing animals for pleasure. And worst of all, they seem like they're doing fine."
Yeah, they have another section on the website that has testimonials of clients that they have, you know, of course, fake clients that they have helped. Apparently, they got this one client $400,000 for emotional pea protein damages. And then there's little stories that go along with it. Selma was minding her own business at a family barbecue when her niece offered her a bite of what she assumed was a hamburger. To her horror, it contained not a wholesome mass of a minimum of 1,000 cows, but coagulated pea protein, and she only found out afterwards. Seymour and his team successfully sued Salma's 21-year-old niece for $400,000 for emotional distress by eating plants that bled beet juice and not aggregated bovine mince. Her niece will be paying it off for years. Maybe now she'll stop buying all that avocado toast.
I like this one. This is a $5.8 million judgment for vegan medical advice. And we've got advice in air quotes. Seymour fought medical science for Kenneth, and he'll fight it all day long for you. Our client faced discrimination and emotional turmoil at the hands of a so-called expert vegan physician. In addition to providing medical advice, the know-it-all doctor resorted to patronizing and judgmental behavior, suggesting a plant-based diet is a powerful tool for preventing, managing, and even reversing type 2 diabetes. That's when our fearless legal warriors stepped in. We fought facts and healthy alternatives to Big Pharma, securing a monumental $5.8 million compensation for our clients' psychological suffering.
So this is a lot of fun for us, but I wonder how many non-vegans are going, A, even find this, you know, or B, be influenced by it in any way.
Well, the thing is, I have a feeling that if people see hatevegans.com, people who hate vegans will want to go there.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's the plan.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. I don't like vegans. I'm calling 1-866-HATE-VEGANS and find out what this is all about.
That's right. Or I'm going to go to the website.
Right.
Hatevegans.com.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really great hook, actually.
Yeah.
We all know that there are some people who find the idea of veganism to be incredibly polarizing, that they not only hate the idea of not consuming animal products, but they hate the people who don't consume animal products.
Yeah, a lot of people, I think, take it really personally, you know, as like a personal affront to their way of life.
Right. Absolutely. And so I have a feeling that at least some of those people, now granted, is this centered largely in the Los Angeles area?
Yeah, the billboards and stuff are centered in the Los Angeles area.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and I think maybe that's a good starting place for it because LA is a very vegan forward city.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I'm sure there are plenty of folks in Los Angeles who just, roll their eyes and wish the vegans would go away.
Yeah. Funny enough, though, there is nothing on this website that says who's behind this, what their, objective is with any of this. It's completely above board about hating vegans.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Even though we can tell this is advocacy, right?
Absolutely.
And they have their tagline is spread the hate.
And how appropriate is that? I mean, come on. There's a reasonable, and I don't know why the word reasonable came out. There is an unreasonable kind of cross-section of our country that seems to enjoy spreading hate.
Yeah, hating people that are other.
Yeah, hating people for any number of reasons.
Right.
And it seems to, kind of permeate the very fabric of American culture anymore. And I find that to be absolutely horrifying. But it's there. So what better? I mean, you're encouraging someone to spread hate.
Yeah.
That's going to catch the eye of some of those
I guess
vegan
so.
haters.
I guess that's what they're targeting, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Is that person that's like, yeah, I want something else to hate. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
Anyway, if I think for vegans, we find it entertaining, and there is some educational stuff in there. I just wonder how far somebody who calls 1-866 hate vegans, how far they're going to take it. Are they going to immediately go, okay, this is satire, you know? Are they going to figure it out? Or how long is it going to take them to figure it out? Will they dive into the website and watch the videos? How long will the average person suspend reality, long enough to get the message, know?
I have to say, I am loving this website because this just gets funnier and funnier as we go.
It's hysterical.
It really is. They have an infographic, and it says, another hysterical vegan infographic so full of lies that you probably shouldn't click on it or Google anything from it.
Right.
Yeah. So that, of course, is also a really great way to get someone to click on something. Don't click on this.
Right.
Whole something becomes far more attractive when it's forbidden in some way.
Yeah, or if it's negative, if it leans negatively.
Right.
Like they've found that YouTubers will tell you if you go on to popular YouTubers that have a lot of followers, you will find that the titles of their videos are often skewed towards the negative.
Yes.
Oh, we can't do this anymore, or we're quitting.
Right.
This is the last time we're going to do this. This may be our last video, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Because they've found, statistically, that people are more likely to click on bad news than they are to click on good news. Mm-hmm. So...
yeah. And this infographic is great. First of all, it's titled Factspiracy.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really kind of great calling to documentaries like Cowspiracy and Seaspiracy.
Right.
I appreciate that just off the bat. But that, again, is something that someone who is anti-vegan just might not be aware of.
Right. In one section of the website, there's a thing on the top that says that we help you fight facts.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Not believe them, fight them.
Yeah. But the infographic itself is really awesome. And at the bottom it says, these are the connections that big animal agriculture does not want you to Google. And so it's all the serious stuff, from unnecessary suffering for both humans and animals, issues with bees, pandemics, the environment, health issues, depletion of fresh water, issues with plastic in the oceans, the deforestation, greenhouse gas emissions, global warming, and, eventually possibly the extinction of humankind.
Yeah. So behind all the satire, there is some real information.
There is.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's another one down here that says definitely don't click. It doesn't tell me what it is, but it says definitely don't click. So I'm going to.
I know that the guys over at How I Vegan Podcast, they actually include the Loudermilk ads into their show as if they are real ads. And they're funny. You know, really funny.
This link that I clicked on, it says, warning, we strongly recommend leaving this page. What you will find below are the very types of resources that derange our vegan enemies, driving them into their sickening cult of soy and tears.
Oh, God.
And so basically, they have a really great list of resources where you can learn more about the treatment of animals in the agriculture industries, about animal sentience, about the environmental impact of animal agriculture, about animal agriculture's effect on humans, particularly the humans who work in the animal agriculture industry, the effects of veganism on health. You know, various news outlets that have vegan information, and then a list of books, cookbooks, and online resources. It's really great.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could, if you have non-vegan friends and family, you could share this with them as kind of like a funny, you know, you got to check this website out. It's hilarious. And then, you know, as they're checking it out, they're going to be fed this information.
Right.
Maybe some of it will get through.
Remember that Am I the Asshat that we did where someone's family sent them a funny meme that kind of denigrated vegans, and then she sent back like excerpts from Dominion?
Yes.
You know, an arrow was shot and she responded with nuclear weapons.
Right.
This would be a great alternative.
Yeah. Sending this back would have been what to do.
Right. Because not only is it funny, not only is there some tongue in cheek, haha, and not only do you, the vegan, know that you're sending something that the non-vegan might appreciate, but that is also, in a way, if they look at it at all, is going to force them to question their belief systems a little bit.
Right. So like a non-vegan family member might think, oh, this is really funny. My vegan family member is sending this self-deprecating stuff to me and it's hilarious. But as they're digging in deeper, they're going to come up with some real information. Yeah. You know? So, I mean, I guess after talking it through with you, that this could be an effective way to advocate.
Oh, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it. And I will definitely be digging further into this.
Yeah.
You know, because there are all kinds of things to click on that I haven't clicked on yet.
And I have no idea who's behind all this. And that's what I find really cool, kind of, is that when you go to that website, there's no like about us where it says, you know, we created this to advocate for vegans. There's none of that. So there's nothing on there that tells you who's behind this, you know, who paid for all of those billboard ads or any of that, you know? So yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
And I guess that brings us to our main topic.
This week, our main topic is coming from an article published by Vox magazine, and the title simply states, "You're wrong about PETA."
PETA can be kind of a polarizing organization.
It can.
Even among vegans.
Yep.
Because of some of the ways that they advocate. Not everybody agrees with the way they advocate. So this Vox article I found really, really interesting.
The nonprofit is a punchline. It's also forced the world to face factory farming, animal cruelty, and our own hypocrisy. Jeremy Beckham remembers the announcement coming over his middle school's PA system in the winter of 1999. Everyone was to stay in their classrooms because there was an intrusion on campus. A day after the brief lockdown was lifted at Eisenhower Junior High School just outside Salt Lake City, the rumors were swirling. Supposedly, someone from People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, had, like a pirate claiming a captured ship, climbed the school flagpole and cut down the McDonald's flag that had been flying there just under Old Glory. The animal rights group was indeed protesting across the street from the public school over its acceptance of a sponsorship from a fast food giant, perhaps more responsible than any other for getting generations of Americans hooked on cheap factory-farmed meat. According to court documents, 2 people had unsuccessfully tried to take down the flag, though it's unclear whether they were affiliated with PETA. The police later intervened to stop PETA's protest, which led to a years-long legal battle over the activists' First Amendment rights. I thought they were psychos with machetes who came to my school and didn't want people to eat meat, Beckham told me with a laugh. But it planted a seed. In high school, when he became curious about animal mistreatment, he checked PETA's website. He learned about factory farming, ordered a copy of Animal Liberation, the animal rights classic by philosopher Peter Singer, and went vegan. Later, he got a job at PETA and helped organize the Salt Lake City Veg Fest, a popular vegan food and education festival. Now a law student, Beckham has his critiques of the group, as do many across the animal rights movement, but he credits it with inspiring his work to make the world less hellish for animals. It's a quintessential PETA story. The protest, the controversy, the infamy in theatrics, and ultimately, the conversion. PETA. You've heard of it, and chances are you have an opinion about it. Nearly 45 years after its founding, the organization has a complicated but undeniable legacy. Known for its ostentatious protests, the group is almost single-handedly responsible for making animal rights part of the national conversation. The scale of animal exploitation in the United States is staggering. Over 10 billion land animals are slaughtered for food every year, and it's estimated that over 100 million are killed in experiments. Abuse of animals is rampant in the fashion industry, in pet breeding and ownership, and in zoos. Most of this happens out of sight and out of mind, often without public knowledge or consent. PETA has fought for over 4 decades to put a spotlight on these atrocities and trained generations of animal activists now active throughout the country. Peter Singer, who is widely credited for galvanizing the modern animal rights movement, said, "I can't think of any other organization that can compare with PETA in terms of the overall influence that it has had and is still having on the animal rights movement." Its controversial tactics are not above critique, but the key to PETA's success has been its very refusal to be well-behaved, forcing us to look at what we might rather ignore: humanity's mass exploitation of the animal world. And I agree with that completely.
Right. And I think kind of what it boils down to is, regardless of whether you agree with all of PETA's tactics, they are responsible for bringing animal rights to the forefront at the beginning of their journey in animal rights, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the ALF, these organizations, while you might not agree with their tactics, are responsible for getting animal rights into the news, into the forefront.
Yeah.
On national television. Yeah, people like Pamela Anderson, who are big voices for PETA.
Right.
And she's on talk shows and, whatever, reality TV, wherever you find her. You might not agree with everything they do, but you can't deny that they are, a loud voice in the animal rights movement.
Yes. And it's really PETA's combination of radicalism and professionalism that helps animal rights to go big. After their founding, the group quickly broadened its efforts to address animal suffering caused by the food, fashion, and entertainment industries, including circuses and aquariums, in which everyday Americans were most complicit. The plight of farmed animals in particular was an issue the American animal rights movement, such as it was, had previously been loath to confront. PETA charged it, conducting undercover investigations at factory farms, documenting widespread animal abuse at farms across the country, and bringing attention to common industry practices like the confinement of pregnant pigs to tiny cages. "We will do the homework for you." That was our mantra. Founder Ingrid Newkirk told us about the group's strategy. "We will show you what goes on in these places where they make the things you're buying." PETA began targeting highly visible national fast food brands, and by the early 1990s, it was running campaigns against Murder King and Wicked Wendy's that eventually led to winning commitments from those mega brands to cut ties with farms where abuses were found. By combining highly visible demonstrations with carefully crafted public relations campaigns, PETA has become adept at arm-twisting major companies into bending to its wishes, USA Today reported in 2001. To spread its message, PETA didn't just rely on the mass media, but embraced any medium available, often with strategies that were ahead of its time. This included making short documentaries, often with celebrity narration, released as DVDs or online. Alec Baldwin lent his voice to Meet Your Meat, a short film about factory farms. Paul McCartney did the voiceover for one of its undercover videos, telling viewers that if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be vegetarian. The rise of the internet and social media were a godsend for PETA, allowing the group to reach the public directly with undercover videos, calls to organize, and pro-vegan messages. It has amassed 1 million followers on X, formerly Twitter, and over 700,000 on TikTok. At a time when even vegetarianism was still viewed askance, PETA was the first large NGO to vocally champion veganism, creating widely shared pamphlets full of recipes and plant-based nutritional information. It gave out free veggie dogs at the National Mall. The musician Morrissey, who had titled a Smiths album Meat is Murder, had PETA booths at his concerts. Hardcore punk bands like Earth Crisis passed out pro-vegan PETA flyers at their shows.
Go Earth Crisis.
And go Morrissey. The animal experimentation and animal agriculture industries are deep-pocketed and deeply entrenched. In taking them on, PETA picked uphill, long-term fights. But bringing the same tactics against weaker opponents has brought quicker results, shifting norms on once ubiquitous uses of animals, from fur to animal testing in cosmetics, with megacorporations like Unilever touting PETA's approval of their animal-friendly credentials. The group has helped end animal use at circuses, including at Ringling Brothers, which relaunched in 2022 with only human performers, and says it has shut down most wild big cat cub petting zoos in the U.S. Its many-faceted approach has drawn attention to the sheer breadth of ways that humans harm animals for profit outside the public eye, like in its campaigns against the use of animals in gruesome car crash tests. As it started doing with the Silver Spring monkeys in 1981, PETA is adept at using its investigations and protests to force authorities to enforce animal welfare laws that are otherwise often flouted. Perhaps its biggest recent victory was against Envigo, a Virginia-based breeder of beagles used in toxicology experiments. A PETA investigator found a litany of violations of the Animal Welfare Act and brought them to the Department of Agriculture, which in turn brought them to the Department of Justice. Envigo pleaded guilty to extensive violations of the law, resulting in a $35 million fine, the largest ever in an animal welfare case, and a ban on the company's ability to breed dogs. The investigation spurred lawmakers in Virginia to pass stricter animal welfare legislation for animal breeding. PETA has also become, out of necessity, a force for defending the democratic right to protest. When the industry is intimidated by PETA and other animal rights groups doing undercover investigations, pushed so-called ag-gag laws to prevent whistleblowing on factory farms, the group joined a coalition including the American Civil Liberties Union to challenge them in court, winning several state-level First Amendment victories for animal rights activists and corporate whistleblowers. Over 40 years, PETA has grown into a major institution with a 2023 operating budget of $75 million and 500 full-time staff, including scientists, lawyers, and policy experts. It is now the de facto face of the American animal rights movement, with public opinion on the group split. Chris Green, executive director of the Animal Legal Defense Fund, told me, like Hoover for vacuums, PETA has become a proper noun, a proxy for animal protection and animal rights.
Yeah, so what might appear as just attention-grabbing, dramatic stunts that are taking place by PETA, the fact is that is just what you're seeing on the outside.
Yeah.
And that just gets the attention so that all of the machinery on the inside of the organization can get what it needs to get done.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, because I know that a lot of people accuse PETA of just, causing problems.
Creating mayhem.
Yeah, creating mayhem, causing problems, and that it's not really good for the movement and that it's really not making change. But you have to understand that all of that theater is really just that.
Yes.
It's just to get attention.
Right.
So that the people that can make decisions in these corporations, like the fast food industry, for instance, will feel the pressure.
Right.
And then they can influence these organizations to, not source their products from terrible farming industries and, to create change.
Sure, you may be put off by some of the imagery for various reasons. Yes, they've used violent imagery. Yes, they've used hypersexualized imagery. But the thing is, those things will get your attention. I mean, look at what is on television or in the movies most of the time. It's sex and violence. So if that's what's going to get people's attention, why not use those kinds of images? It at least gets their foot in the door.
It's a proven tactic.
It is.
Yeah.
And certainly PETA is probably the only animal rights organization that is essentially a household name.
Right. I would say PETA and ALF. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
ALF, I can go with that.
Yeah. And ALF is just like the opposite of PETA, right? They do everything undercover.
Yeah.
And then, they don't show their faces. You don't know who they are. They go into like maybe a mink farm or something like that. They free the animals. They liberate the animals. They get out. And then you hear about it, weeks later.
Yeah.
They don't make a fuss about it before it happens. So it's like the complete polar opposite of what PETA does. So,
yeah, absolutely. And what they're really doing is just very graphically illustrating the world that we live in.
Right.
In ways that we perhaps don't see all the time.
Yeah.
And so if you're trying to make sense of PETA, start not with the group, but with the crisis it is trying to address. Humans mete out violence against animals on an almost unimaginable scale. It is a violence that is ubiquitous and normalized, carried out by individuals, organizations, companies, and governments, often entirely legally. Not only have few people attempted to tackle this violence seriously, most don't even recognize it as violence. How do you challenge this status quo when most people would rather tune out your arguments? PETA, an imperfect but necessary messenger, offered one answer, as best as it could. Today, more animals are bred and killed in horrendous conditions than at any other point in human existence. Over more than 40 years, PETA has not achieved its goal of ending speciesism. But it has, nonetheless and against the odds, forever altered the debate around animal use. In the U.S., animals are, for the most part, out of circuses. Fur is considered taboo by many. Animal testing is divisive, with half of Americans opposed to the practice. Meat eating has become the subject of spirited public debate. Perhaps more importantly, there are now many more groups committed to animal welfare. There is more donor money. More politicians are speaking out about factory farming. Progress in any social movement is slow, incremental, and bumpy. But PETA has provided a blueprint. It started with a strong and non-negotiable ethical and political goal and realized it could have the most impact over the long term through professionalization and developing a wide supporter network. It was unafraid of controversy and confrontation, making sure people knew the name PETA. It also made missteps that harmed its reputation and that of the movement. But wherever the animal rights movement goes from here, and whatever strategies it chooses, it will need large, well-funded organizations to fight the big fights in courtrooms and in the court of public opinion. And it will need leaders like Ingrid Newkirk, whose commitment to the cause is absolute.
Right. So we should support PETA, in my opinion. And I think one of the greatest things that PETA has done is help to protect our right to protest. In this world we live in right now, we need to have the right to protest what we feel is wrong.
Amen.
And we've had some instances where those protests were started out as peaceful protests and were escalated by insurgents, I guess is the only word I can think of, to the point where people trying to protest peacefully were thrown into violent situations.
Yes.
I mean, it is kind of a tale as old as time, right? I mean, it happened in the 60s. It happened during the suffragette movement. It happened, but we have to have that right to protest.
Yes.
You know, and we should be able to protest peacefully without a police presence, without being threatened by the police, without being threatened by government entities. It's our right. And PETA has done wonderful work in that
incredible
arena.
Yes.
You know, so if nothing else, even if you don't agree with what they've done for the animal rights movement, you cannot deny what they have done for our right to protest.
I agree. You are not wrong.
I don't know what your thoughts are about PETA. I know, like I said, sometimes it's polarizing that people are like, I don't know. I don't know if PETA is really who we should be standing behind. But you also have to step back and look, maybe take a look at your shampoo bottle. Do you see the little bunny on your shampoo bottle? That's PETA.
It's true.
All that stuff is PETA. All of the cruelty-free in the toiletry aisle that you see, that's because PETA fought for that stuff.
It's true.
So we have to at least respect what PETA has done for the movement.
I personally am a big fan.
Yeah.
I love PETA.
I do too.
I think they're great.
I do too. But there seems to be, in some segments of the animal rights and animal liberation movement, there seems to be a segment of that movement that just thinks it's uncool to think PETA's good, you know?
I've never been concerned with what was cool.
So we'll include a link to the full Vox article on PETA because it's an extensive article. There's a lot more in there that you should read and find out about PETA if you're interested. So I'll include that link in the show notes.
And we'll also include a link to PETA themselves. So if you're interested, if you would like to get involved, if you would like to support them, or just get more information directly from the source, you can do that too.
I mean, their website is, as you can imagine, extensive.
Huge.
There's a huge segment for youth. There's a huge segment for children. And, of course, for adults, if you're looking for resources, it's their website is pretty awesome, loaded with a ton of information. That takes us to our assignment, Restaurant SOS.
This week, we're highlighting Grandma's Kitchen. Grandma's Kitchen is located in the Arnott Mall at 3300 Chambers Road in Horseheads, New York, which is just south of Watkins Glen. So if you're heading out to visit Farm Sanctuary, check out Grandma's Kitchen while you're in the area. They're an all-vegan cafe, bakery, and special event space. Their tagline is, "Tastes like Grandma's, only vegan."
Yeah, and Grandma's Kitchen was nominated by the owners and operators of Grandma's Kitchen. They reached out to us and said, hey, can we be added to your Restaurant SOS list? And I said, absolutely.
Awesome.
They have gone through a pretty tragic event where earlier this year, their first location was flooded terribly. An upstairs pipe burst or something.
No.
Rendering the space unusable. That's how much water was in it. And so they have come back stronger and better than ever, found a space in the Arnott Mall, which I think is so cool. The space looks like it could have once been maybe a Friendly's restaurant or something.
Okay.
So I think that is awesome that you can go to a mall and go to a vegan restaurant.
Yes.
That is fantastic.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And their food is just like they said, it's home cooked comfort stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you want to take a look at their menu?
I already am. And what is super cool about this is that they've got a lot of different options, but you get to turn them into combos. So like Grandma's Plate is your choice of entree, 2 side dishes, and a local side salad. But if you want a little bit of everything, you get your entree, 2 side dishes, a side salad, a cup of soup, a piece of focaccia, and a dessert. Like, this is crazy. And so the list of things that they have, like, I'm loving this already because, buildable food. I love buildable food.
Yeah.
And even though this food in particular is not in and of itself buildable, the idea that I am building a plate,
building your meal.
Yeah, I love that. Mm-hmm. So they've got some really kind of traditional diner type of stuff. The sides are, add chips and a pickle or a cup of soup, green beans, macaroni salad, local potatoes, coleslaw, side salad, mac and cheese, all of those kinds of things. And then their entrees are cold sandwiches, or hot plates.
Yeah, and you can get shepherd's pie. Come on, shepherd's pie. I want shepherd's pie.
Who doesn't?
Chicken salad over local mixed greens. That sounds good. Dill egg salad over local mixed greens. That sounds really good. Oh, they have the Impossible hot dogs.
Yes,
if you haven't
do.
tried those and you wanted to, they have several different varieties of the Impossible hot dogs, from the classic to a New York dog to a Chicago dog, Coney Island dog, a West Virginia dog, which is coney sauce, house-made coleslaw, and chopped onions. That sounds good.
It does.
And you can get the 2 hot dog combo, which is your choice of 2 of those hot dogs, plus a choice of coleslaw or macaroni salad on the side.
They've also got some entree salads. They've got a large garden salad, a chicken salad over local mixed greens, and an egg salad over local mixed greens. All of this just looks awesome.
It's just good homemade food.
Yeah.
At really reasonable prices.
Yes.
And if you follow their socials, please do follow Grandma's Kitchen on Instagram and Facebook. They often post specials. They do like vegan meatloaf and just all these wonderful looking home comfort meals, and I really can't wait until we can get up there and check them out.
Yeah. Let's try to do that soon.
Yes. Let's. Yeah. So if you're in the Watkins Glen area, do not miss Grandma's Kitchen in the Arnett Mall. It's at 3300 Chambers Road in Horseheads, New York, and it's just south of Watkins Glen. It's time for our favorite portion of the show.
Must be listener shout out time.
It's listener shout out.
Just want to give a shout out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
This week's listener shout out goes to Christine Collins. Christine has been an animal activist for 34 years after being exposed to the realities of animal agriculture while in college. Thank you, PETA. When she wrote to us, she was on her way to attend a protest in North Rose, New York, at Marshall Bioresources. Marshall is a factory farm that breeds animals for vivisection and lab testing. More than 23,000 beagles are housed in this facility at one time and transported to labs, colleges, and universities all over the nation. Other animals are also bred here, including guinea pigs, ferrets, cats, mongrels, and miniature pigs. Rise for Animals, Dog Research Exposed, Animal Rights Rochester, and PETA are sponsoring this event and campaign. Christine is also a co-founder of the Buffalo chapter of Anonymous for the Voiceless. And we had the good fortune to meet Christine at an event at Mockingbird Farm Sanctuary last year.
We did. It was good to meet you, Christine. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for writing into us. If you want to write into us again and send us your t-shirt size and address, I would love to send you a Compassion and Cucumbers swag bag. You can either use the text link in our show notes, or you can email us at the same email that you contacted us at, compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com, or DM us on Instagram or Facebook.
And per usual, we are looking for more entries for shout-outs. So if you out there would like a listener shout-out, please text, email, or DM us. Let us know what you think of the show and tell us a little bit about yourself. You can also nominate someone else. And don't forget that a shout-out enters you into our Meeson Chef Knife giveaway later this year. And that's going to be coming up in the not-too-distant future.
You want to get in on that?
Yeah, you do.
If you cook, if you like to be in the kitchen and you want a good knife, this is a fantastic chef knife.
And there you have it.
I can attest to it because I have one of my own.
There you go.
Yeah. It's time for our Vegan Org of the Week. This week's Vegan Org of the Week is Rancher Advocacy Program.
Rancher Advocacy Program is the direct result of the transformational evolution Renee King Sonnen, Rancher Advocacy Program and Rowdy Girl Sanctuary founder, had when she went vegan and decided she was unwilling to participate in her husband Tommy's multi-generational cattle business. The Rancher Advocacy Program began when Renee bought her husband Tommy's cows, and that led to Tommy's personal evolution as he went vegan. Together, they started the first nonprofit farm sanctuary that transitioned from animal agriculture that now saves rather than slaughters animals. Because of this, Renee's and Tommy's story made its way into farmers and ranchers' homes all over the country. As a result of an organic outpouring of calls and messages from families wanting to transition from animal agriculture to a financially stable, environmentally friendly way of life while preserving their culture and history, the Rancher Advocacy Program was born. To support them or to learn more, go to rancheradvocacy.org.
If you're not familiar with Rancher Advocacy Program, you might be familiar with Renee herself. She is quite the presence on Instagram and Facebook. She is quite a character and very, very enthusiastic about her advocacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We met her in Washington, D.C. a few years ago.
The Ava Summit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she's a force to be reckoned with.
Indeed, she is.
She does really great work, as does everybody there at Rancher Advocacy. Wow, it's time to wrap this thing up. Just have a few calls to action for you. Please join the Agriculture Fairness Alliance's Vegan Voter Hub. We always include the link in our show notes, so please click that link and join the Voter Hub. Subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube. Leave us a review and a rating. And don't forget that you can text us using the link at the top of our show notes. You can text us show ideas, recipes, cookbook recommendations, or just to say hey.
And with that, it's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 153 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion
on the podcast. Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
We do. Bye-bye.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our vegan kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.